Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. May I have your attention? We're gonna, good evening again. We're gonna start the program, and we're really excited about our keynote speaker tonight. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Dr. Peter Schultz. He will be our speaker tonight. He is an international recognized scientist and co-inventor of fiber optics used for telecommunications. Today, virtually all the 2.5 billion miles of fiber optic cable deployed worldwide are based on his original materials and the process patents. Dr. Schultz has enjoyed a nearly 60-year career in the fields of optical fiber communication and materials and ceramic scientists. He is the recipient of numerous honors for his achievements, including election to the National Academy of Engineering, induction into the National Inventors Hall of Fame, and receiving a National Medal of Technology from President Clinton, the highest technology award awarded by the U.S. government for technology. And just last week, he was awarded the Medal of Excellence from Rutgers University for his accomplishments, geez, I can't even talk tonight, in engineering and service to the community. Dr. Schultz has deep ties to upstate New York. He has worked for the Corning Glass Works in Corning, New York. He has taught at Cornell University, was a director of the SUNY-funded Community Broadband Network, CBN. He has lived in Essex County, and vacations at White Pine Camp across from Paul Smith's College. Dr. Schultz tonight will share some of his thoughts on the growth of fiber optic technology that will propel upstate New York's economy to new heights. He is here today on behalf of Slick Fiber Internet, upstate New York's fastest growing internet provider. Dr. Schultz. Got it.
Is that going to work? That was a great talk. Thank you very much. I might have written that myself. I've given a talk about fiber optics in many different places around the world and to many different groups. This is the first time I have given it in a church. And a beautiful Gothic church it is, really. Thanks for being here. I hope I can enlighten you a little bit about fiber optics and how important they will be to your future. So I made the invention of fiber optics as a young scientist 55 years ago when I worked at Corning Glass Works in upstate New York, western New York. I worked with two physicists, and I was the sort of the materials chemist guy. My job was to make the glass, draw it into fiber, and do it all without blowing up the lab, which finally, after 5 years, we succeeded in doing, making the fiber, not blowing up the lab. I did have one explosion before that. That fiber in 1970 had a loss of what was called 20 dBs per kilometer, and that was our original goal. The goal was to be able to transmit a signal as far as you could transmit an electric signal down a copper wire. That meant 1 mile later, you would get 1% of the signal out, and then you could amplify it, boost it, and send it on its way. So the idea was, okay, if we could do that well with glass fibers, we'd be on our way. The problem was that the best glasses of the time would be lucky to get that signal from me to that chair before it was completely absorbed. So our goal was to make that glass so pure, so perfect, that it would get beyond that chair. It would get to at least a mile away. And in 1970, after about 5 years of work, we finally made a fiber that was 20 dBs per kilometer. And 2 years later, we improved on that fiber to make it more manufacturable. And that fiber, which is called a germania doped silica fiber, and that's the last science I'll tell you tonight, that fiber is what is used around the world today. This 2.5 billion miles of fiber that we're talking about that are already installed around the world, virtually all of that is based on that same chemical formula and basically the same process that we developed back then in 1972. So a lot of advances, of course, improvements in the manufacturing and everything, but the basics are still the same as what we invented back then. So it has stood the test of time. It's stood the test of time a little better than me. About 2 months ago, I had a fall and I ended up breaking my right ankle in about 3 places. So I'm close to healed up, but I've been told don't put too much pressure on that. I'm now out of a boot and into a sort of a brace, and I walk around with the cane, which makes me look very distinguished. I'm getting used to that. So there it was. The fiber was built, was made. We proved it. Let's go. I'm ready for it to be installed. Well, that took a little bit of time. In fact, it took about 30 years, almost 30 years, between the time we invented it and the time it really started to get properly deployed for communications. It took time to develop the cabling. It took time to basically test out the whole concept. But it happened. So we used laser beams, passed it down through the core of this fiber, and pick up the signal on the other end, turn it back into the stuff we look at and listen to, and that was the technology. Now, that all sounds very simple, but there was a lot of work along the way to get to that point, a lot, and a lot of roadblocks. Some of the biggest roadblocks were the telecom companies. They did not like this little glass company in upstate New York having the ability to make the fiber that they could use for communications. They all were trying to do it themselves. And none of them succeeded. Around the world, none of them succeeded. Corning invented it. And we had the patents on it. And so these companies said, we don't need it. We don't need you. In fact, the largest company in the world at that time was a company called ITT, International Telephone and Telegraph. Some of you may have heard of it. It's almost non-existent today, but it was the largest telecom company in the world at that time. And they said, forget it, Corning, we don't need you. We'll do it on our own. So that company started to manufacture fiber. Of course, our patents were issued, so they knew how we did it, and they put in the labs scientists who could reproduce what we did. They started to make it themselves. What is Corning going to do? A little glass company in upstate New York. Do we fight them, or do we just roll over and let them do it? So the head of Corning at that time, a gentleman named Amo Houghton, literally bet the company on the fiber patents. He said, no, you can't do it. We're going to stop you. And so this went into court battles that literally, I can't even imagine how much money was spent on it, the battles. But in the end, Corning prevailed. And so the fiber became owned by Corning. Anybody that wanted to make it had to have a license. And literally that changed Corning into the major company that it is today. The largest manufacturer of fiber in the world is Corning Glassworks, that little pissant company in upstate New York, which used to make Corning ware, right? Light bulbs, picture tubes for TVs. Today, they're the largest manufacturer of fiber optics in the world. So finally, in the early 1990s, the fiber started to really get deployed. So we had a good network of mainline fibers taking care of the big demands. It didn't come to the home yet. It barely even came to the small communities, but it was out there. So fiber, high bandwidth communication network was in place. What else happened in the early 90s? The laptop, the PC was created, was born. Didn't exist before that. And along with it came user-friendly software. You didn't have to write code to be able to use that little computer. It was all right there, thank you, Microsoft, for us all to be able to use without having to invent it. And there was this wonderful little guy, the mouse. So between the mouse and the icons, the laptop, and a fiber network that could handle all of the bandwidth that was needed, what came out? The internet. The internet was born in the early 1990s because of those three key ingredients. Take one away, it wouldn't have happened. That led to the internet. And that led to everything that we have and see today. I talk to young people now, they can't even imagine the world existed before you had email. How did you communicate? Well, we use faxes. What's a fax, right? So this changed the world. It literally changed the world. How we communicate with each other. In addition to that huge benefit that came out of that work, a few years later, early 2000s, along came the iPhone. The iPhone, again, was another revolution. You take that cell phone, if you will, and all the apps that you can put on it now. You know, when the phone first came out, there were, I think, maybe a dozen apps. Within a year, there were thousands. Within a couple of years, there were millions of apps that you could put on that phone. So again, it changed how we communicate. But as most of you know, that cell phone sends it through the air only to the first cell tower. After that cell tower, it has to go into a landline communication system. There's just too much information flowing to be able to keep it going through the air effectively. And that now is mostly fiber. So literally from that cell phone to wherever it's going in the world, it's usually going through fiber. So the fiber is critical. It's ubiquitous. It's the most important part of the infrastructure for that communication link. When I lived in upstate New York, I lived in Essex, New York, we had terrible cell service and internet service. It wasn't copper wire, but it was coax, but it wasn't very good. So I got grouped together with a couple of other scientists and engineers, and the University, SUNY in Plattsburgh has a technology group, and that technology group basically gave a grant to a group of us to try to build a fiber network in the Adirondacks, in the North Country, because it was truly overlooked. It was either unserved or underserved. And we started a company called CBN Connect, Community Broadband Network Connect. And we used some of that grant money to design a network. Basically, it was a loop around the North Country. I think it was a couple 100 miles of loop, and it connected all the major towns. And we wanted to build it, but we didn't have enough money. This was going to be an open access network. At that time, we just couldn't keep going, and so unfortunately, our little company died. CBN Connect went away. Let's fast forward to where we are now. The North Country still suffers, many parts of the North Country still suffer from lack of bandwidth, from lack of network services. Yes, we have copper wire, we have some coax, we even have satellites, but none of that is as good as a solid fiber network. And finally, there are people who are working on building one. A company called DANC, D-A-N-C, a government New York State government-owned company has been building what's called an open access network for some time. They started in Watertown, and they've spread around through parts of the North Country. And that's an open access, meaning anybody else can come in, hook into it, and use it. You pay a fee, but you have it. But finally, we have a company here who has put, how do I say this? They have developed a financial model and the ability to economically install fiber optics in these areas which are underserved or unserved. The company is called SLIC, St. Lawrence Internet Company. And they have been working diligently over the last years now, I say probably close to 10 years, to try to get into those pockets of the North Country that don't have internet, don't have the fiber internet system. They have built today several thousand miles of fiber in the North Country. They have connected, gone through, allowing connections in, I think, 170 communities all around the North Country. And they are aggressively continuing to build out and grow that network. That network is absolutely critical. Thank God there is at least one company now who has found the right chemistry, the secret sauce, if you will, to be able to economically build out a network in areas that everybody else has avoided, has bypassed, because it's just not economically viable. And so you're beginning to see that here. You see it here in Mechanicville. We see it in many different areas. It's in Saratoga Springs right now where they're building out. So there will be a true fiber network available into the North Country. And I cannot tell you how important that is to the economic viability in this day and age in this part of the country. There are many individuals who would love to live in the North Country, who could work remotely, who could provide jobs for others. But you need to have that access, that high-speed, high-bandwidth kind of network. And without it, it can't happen. And it is beginning to happen. So I'm very pleased to say at this economic summit that I see an end, a light at the end of the road, at the end of the tunnel, for the ability for the North Country to truly participate in what has been going on in many other parts of this country to improve the economic viability of this region. And finally, after 55 years, I'm glad to see we finally are getting some fiber in places where it should be. I thought way back in the beginning, oh, hell, this will take off in no time. But it didn't. It took 25, almost 30 years before it really started with the internet and things like that. And now comes the iPhone, the smartphone. But still, there are areas that don't have the service that they should have. And now I think finally it's about to happen. So I'm glad to be here to be able to say that. I'm glad to be finally seeing the dream, I guess, that we had as scientists way back in the beginning, that we could truly improve the communication capabilities of everyone in this country and in this world. Thank you very much.
I'm not as tall as Dr. Schultz. Thank you very much, Dr. Schultz. What an inspiration you are. Everybody give him a hand. I mean, 55 years. Incredible. Thank you so much. In this day and age when everybody is used to such instant things happening, especially young people, It just shows if you stick with it. I mean, it's incredible what he has accomplished, and we are so honored to have you be a part of our program tonight. Thank you for being here. At this time, I'd like to introduce Michelle Duell, who's going to come up and give an award to our first recipient. And somewhere, oh, there she is. I'm waiting for the Assemblywoman to come up as well. So here you go, Michelle.
Get my glasses on here. Okay, well, tonight I am presenting the award for Ballston Spa National Bank. They're in the town of Stillwater. Founded in 1838, Ballston Spa National Bank serves individuals, businesses, organizations, and families through 13 full-service branches across Albany and Saratoga counties. Ballston Spa National Bank provides a complete range of retail, commercial, residential, and private wealth banking solutions designed to meet the needs of the growing community. But that's not all that they offer. They offer sponsorship to many of our local organizations, the Stillwater Fire Department, the Mechanicville-Stillwater Breast Cancer Walk, Stillwater Central School District, Mechanicville Golf Club, Stillwater United Church, All Saints on the Hudson, Stillwater Public Library, the Mechanicville Area Community Service Center, Mechanicville Elementary School, and the Stillwater Family Day. To say that they are more than just a local bank is an understatement. I remember when I met Paula and we had our first little chamber meeting, and she was like, what do you, kind of interested in joining the chamber and being a part of it? And I said, yeah, we need a treasurer. She kind of smiled, and I said, you're going to be it. So she took on that role, and she's always supportive when I give her a call and say, hey, I need a check. So Paula, you guys, if you could come down so I could present you with this award. And I'm going to turn this over to Assemblywoman Warner as well.
Thank you so much. You know, my dad was a small businessman, and he taught me a lot about what it takes to be successful over time in a small business. And one of the things he always said is, the most important thing you can have is a relationship with your banker. And what that embedded in that thought is that you have a local bank to have a relationship with. Because local banks are invested in the community, they are of the community, they understand what the economy looks like and what works or doesn't work in this community. But more than that, they're investing in the people. So that's not just you're not just a number on a spreadsheet, you are actually a person well known to the banker that's sitting across the desk from you. And Ballston Spa National Bank is that bank in Mechanicville and Stillwater, in so many of our communities. So it's really a pleasure to honor you tonight and to honor the commitment that you've made to our communities and to the people who make our communities work. Thank you.
So we'll turn this over for you to talk.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Pam Montpelier. I'm Senior Vice President at the bank. I'm here on behalf of Chris Dowd, our president, who was not able to be here tonight. I'm not Paula, obviously. But the first thing I want to do is thank you so much for honoring us, our bank. We're just thrilled. And we have a great crew of employees here from our Stillwater branch. And obviously want to thank Paula. Most of you probably know Paula, our relationship manager in Stillwater. If you don't know her, please come meet her. And as you said, you know, our bank has been around a long time. I don't know if all of you know this. The nicest thing about a bank is I don't have to tell you what we do. So is anybody in the room not know what a bank does, right? So you already know what we do, so that's great. But what you don't know is we're the oldest bank in Saratoga County. We're the second oldest bank in the state of New York. We're still operating under the same charter. We have our original office that's under historical renovation, 87 Front Street. It's been closed since June. It's going to open in December. It's a historical landmark that we want to honor. Our Stillwater branch has been there for 32 years. So we're pretty thrilled about that. I just want to tell you a little bit about our bank, which I think makes us unique. We do give back to the community. It's something very, very important to us. We just recently had 113 employees get together and build 20 beds for the Mechanicville chapter of Sleep and Heavenly Peace. We just accomplished that. We provided 20 beds for children in need, so they have a safe, comfortable place to sleep and a bed that they can call their own. I have actually been in banking for 4 decades. I am new to New York. I've only been here a year and a half. I took the job because, in my career of banking, I met Chris Dowd, our president, and I learned about the culture of our bank. I moved here a year and a half ago. I didn't know all of these towns, but I knew banking. And what I've learned is our bank has heart. So we give back to the community, and it allowed me to move here to communities like this and work with this wonderful group of employees that are here tonight and really make a difference. And so I ask all of you, I know everybody wants something in their bank. You want, financial solutions, you want advice. We are local, we have local decisions, and I want you to know that we're a bank that has a big heart. I think that's so important because when something goes wrong, what do? You want to bank with somebody you know, right? And so any of you that are in this community, I want to ask you to please stop by and see Paula and the people that are there, and please give us a try because we really are committed to your financial wellness and to really giving back in the communities that we serve. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Who's next?
Thank you. Okay, it is my privilege to introduce our next presenter, Amy Pickett, who is another one that Michelle said, come on and join the chamber, and then what do? She is now the vice president of the Chamber of Commerce. So, with all due respect, it is your mic.
Apparently, Michelle didn't watch the commercial for the city of Mechanicville. Otherwise, Kevin Koval would be up here doing this speech because he's a much better speaker than I am. But I am truly honored to be presenting Marianne with this award tonight. For more than 50 years, Marianne Fortune has been a cornerstone of the Mechanicville community, inspiring generations of dancers through her dedication to the art of dance and youth development. Beginning her dance education at just the age of 3 years old, and then opening her own studio in Mechanicville, New York at just 17 years old. While pursuing her Bachelor's of Science degree in psychology at Union College in Schenectady, she continued to teach and advance her own technical training under the guidance of master instructors. Following graduation, Marianne devoted herself fully to her lifelong passion, dance. She continues to study and refine her skills to bring innovative techniques to her students. Her mission statement is, the Marianne Fortune School of Dance is committed to providing high-quality dance education that combines fundamental and advanced techniques with personal growth and discipline. Our goal is to help every student develop a strong sense of pride, confidence, and accomplishment. Beyond the studio, Marianne and her dancers are active participants in the community events. Be on the lookout. They will be performing this year on Park Avenue during the Veterans Parade. Sharing their talent and spirit to support and enrich the community they call home. Congratulations, Marianne, on 51 fabulous years. Oh, I'm sorry.
And Marianne, I too have a citation for you to recognize your contributions to the development of youth across the region. I had the good fortune to invite Marianne and some of her students to come to the Capitol to be recognized for their 50th anniversary this past winter. And then I got to go to one of their dance performances. And it was just so exciting to see the smiles on your dancers' faces and the professionalism that they exhibit. So thank you so much for continuing to invest not just in the city of Mechanicville, but in all of the youth of our region. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank the Mechanicville-Stillwater Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event, and to those in attendance, Assemblywoman Carrie Warner, Mayor Mike Butler, Stillwater Mayor Judy Woodzino, Supervisors Tom Richardson and Ed Kanowski, all other dignitaries present, as well as the past elected officials. I thank all of you for your service to the communities. I would also like to thank the City of Mechanicville, and once again, its public officials and first responders, including the police department, fire department, EMS personnel, and all others for providing exceptional service, not only to Mechanicville, but the surrounding communities as well. Mechanicville is a wonderful place for opening new businesses and maintaining those businesses which have been established here for many years. I would also like to acknowledge that my family is here with me this evening. My brother John and his wife Colleen, and my cousins Carol and Ed. I thank you so much for being here with me. And now the journey begins. As Amy stated, in 1974, as a senior at Mechanicville High School, I opened my dance studio in the basement of my home with 25 students. I graduated in 1975 and continued my education, receiving a BS degree in psychology 4 years later from Union College in Schenectady. Throughout my college years, I continued to teach dance. However, at that point, a decision had to have been made as to whether I was going to continue and advance my degree or to pursue the career that I began 4 years ago. Well, the choice was made, and it was a very easy choice to make. The career that I have chosen has been a remarkable one, creating many memories and lasting friendships that I cherish, and they will last for a lifetime. Last September 2024 marked the 50th anniversary of the opening of my studio, and the weekend of June 6th, 7th, and 8th of 2025 marked the anniversary of the 50th recital. But ironically, the first recital was held on that same day in that same month, June 6th, 1975, but right next door at the Mechanicville Middle School auditorium. I am a believer that one's success is not defined by one's achievements alone, but by the many along the way who have dedicated themselves in helping that individual achieve their goals. From my first dance instructor, Gloria Conway, and the many mentors who gave me the skill and knowledge to be able to pass along to others, to my staff, to the families past and present, some who are here tonight, for giving me the opportunity to share my love of dance with their children, and to all my students, past and present. They are and will always be my inspiration. Lastly, to my family, my father, Anthony Fortune, my mother, Rose, and my brother, John. I am forever grateful for the encouragement from my father when he said to me at the age of 17, open the dance studio. I said, I don't think I can. He said, but you can. To my parents, again, for enrolling me in my first dance class, because they saw the importance of not only learning that art form, but to be able to interact and to socialize with other children. For my father and brother, for building a beautiful facility for dance and gymnastics. For the many dance recitals, conventions, and competitions that my parents and brother attended. But most of all, for the love and support they have given me all of these years. Now, this story would not be complete if I didn't say a few words about my brother John. John also enjoyed the arts. Namely, acting was what he loved, and as a young child, he was involved in children's theater. And as he became older, he was involved with the Stillwater Players. So it was only fitting that he enjoyed the recitals as backstage crew and as a lighting technician. Although the recitals are much bigger now, my brother is always willing to give a helping hand if, whenever was needed. John, this is for you. I thank you for working by our father's side, not only in the building of the dance studio, but the many other projects and commercial properties in the city of Mechanicville and Half Moon. Thank you for keeping his legacy alive. In conclusion, I believe I have come full circle. My sincerest thanks to the Mechanicville-Stillwater Chamber of Commerce for this recognition, and I am honored to be in the company of those recipients before me. I am proud to be a member of this community and the home of Mary Ann Fortune's Dance Studio these last 51 years. I will forever cherish this evening. Thank you once again for this wonderful honor.
Thank you, Marianne. Well, as I was sitting and listening to the last three, to our two recipients and our speaker, I thought maybe our theme tonight should be called "That Was Built to Last," because it's amazing the longevity that these businesses have had, and we thank you, and the lives you've transformed, and to Dr. Schultz, who has just transformed lives and the world. It's quite the economic summit, if you ask me. At this time, I'd like to also introduce Mayor Mike Butler, who is working hard to transform Mechanicville, and he would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Sally. I think over the past year, there's been some great strides made here in Mechanicville. Presently, our train station is being revitalized by Kevin Colville, who previously had taken the empty DeSiena property and turned it into his headquarters. Over the past year to two, he's brought many workers into Mechanicville and is renovating many of our old buildings, which would have probably been torn down. John Pickett from Evolution, with some encouragement from his wife Amy, is transforming our industrial yards. And now that area is mostly developed again. There is no longer just a brownfield up there. There's buildings, there's grass, there's roads, there's people. I think in the future, with Todd Shimkus helping us with our DI grant, New York Forward grant, it's going to allow us to do some other helping hands to businesses. Another project that was done this year was our splash pad. That was a dream of former Commissioner Hosley, who unfortunately is not here with us and not able to see the end result of his wish. He came to me, I think we had only been in office maybe a year, and he thought, we got to do something with that playground up there. He said, we need a splash pad. I guess Tommy Richardson's sister Ethel took him there for swimming lessons back 70 or so years ago. There was a little tubey and had him in the water up there. That's one of the things in Mechanicville in the past year that probably did need to be replaced. That splash pad needed to be done. So we had some ideas. Fred went around and looked at some splash pads, and he came back to me and said, don't just walk onto a splash pad. They come on automatically. Fred went out to Half Moon to see what theirs was like and got in the middle of it, and doesn't the whole thing go off on him? So those are words from Fred. Don't walk just onto a splash pad if you're in your clothes. So we had some ideas. We put some money together for an engineering firm, and we came up with a plan to do it. And we had talked to a benefactor that would hope to help sponsor us. Well, when we got the end result, we got some sticker shock. So I had to make a phone call to a gentleman, and I said to him, we've got our final number for our splash pad. There's some other stuff the city would like to do up there to renovate the bathhouse and the grounds. Things are starting to get a little dated up there. So I called Scott Earl back, and I said, Scott, we're all set to go with the splash pad. We've got everything but the money, and we're kind of hoping that you could support us. I know you mentioned earlier a year or so. It took us a year to get to this point. A year previously, he said, I can do something for you. So I told him, I think I paused. I said, Scott, I'd like $1 million. Scott paused, said, what happened to the whatever number we originally talked to? Well, we went a little bit bigger and a little bit better. It's Mechanicville. We're gamblers here. We thought we didn't do well in playing scratch-offs or playing any of the ways we could win money. So Scott said, let me call you back. So I said, oh boy. Scott called me back the next day and said, you'll have your check tomorrow. So I wanted to bring Scott up. This is Scott Earl, everyone. Thank you. I've got a proclamation I'd like to read. The City of Mechanicville recognizes values individual whose dedication, leadership, and support contribute significantly to the betterment of our community. Scott Earl has consistently demonstrated unwavering commitment to the City of Mechanicville through his generous contributions, time, resources, and expertise. His efforts have positively impacted community development and the overall well-being of the residents of Mechanicville. Scott Earl's support has served as a shining example of civic responsibility and community partnership, inspiring others to engage and give back to our beloved city. The City of Mechanicville is proud to recognize individuals who exemplify the spirit of service and pride in our community. I, Michael Butler, Mayor of the City of Mechanicville, on behalf of the City Council and all its residents, do hereby extend our sincere gratitude and appreciation to Scott Earl for his continued support and dedication to the City of Mechanicville.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I don't have a very long story, but a small one, and I'm well known for humor. So that check, by the way, was from BSNB. They called me for 2 weeks, wondered how I was going to cover it. But the team did a good job. I first started in Mechanicville. I was introduced actually in Stillwater in 1989. Picked up my first bag of garbage on George Dickinson Road, Elmer Robinson Road up by the lake. And then the City of Mechanicville garbage contract came up, and I met Pat Hildreth, the mayor then at the time, Val Serbalik, the attorney, and Mike Rinaldi, a heck of a guy. And Mr. Rinaldi introduced me to all the streets and said, make sure you don't miss anything. Pick up all the trash. So for all those years, up and including today, we still pick up trash in the City of Mechanicville. So I thank you for that. But some people say, well, where did you get the money? I had to take a lot of from a lot of people. But the one thing I have admired over the years is the sense of community. And even though you see Stillwater and you wonder, over 30 years, the growth that went on in the town, it didn't break up that sense of community. It actually, it complemented it very well. In the City of Mechanicville, rock-hard community. And I would tell you that congratulations, job well done.
Thank you, Scott. I get to speak again. It's like the last city council meeting. I spoke the most I have in the last 4 years at the one meeting. So, I'll start the clock. I'm here tonight to honor a personal friend, Bob Murphy. Bob has gone above and beyond, as many people in Mechanicville do know. when his children were young, there wasn't a sporting event that Bob did not participate in, willingly, lining fields, raking fields, whatever it took. Bob is good with a rake in his hand. I just want to tell you that. When it came to Kelly's sporting events, he was always with Kelly, coached the girls' basketball team. Bob was all through youth sports. Bob was there for any of the youth in Mechanicville. He went. When Bob and I went to high school together, Bob hurt his shoulder our senior year of football, but he still went on to play baseball at Siena. And Bob was known to throw a few nights of batting practice to a lot of Bob's friends. I know his arm had to be killing him, but Bob wasn't going to give in. If the kids wanted to go out and practice baseball, Bob was going to help them get there. His knowledge of our community is amazing. He's taken over from Dr. Paul Lopman as far as knowing how our city started, where it came from. He just got done doing 2 presentations in the Hudson View Cemetery, where a lot of the dignitaries where Mechanicville started, the Strang Mill, the LeCounses, the Ladows. Help me out, Bob. Colonel Elmers is up there. And Bob did a wonderful job. Barb would probably say Bob is unorganized, but I don't believe that. Bob is always, when he's got to do something, he focuses on it, he finds out the facts, and he does it, right? Like the checkbook. The checkbook is very close to Bob. So, but when it came to there, the cemetery presentation I heard was beautiful because Bob put that effort into it. He weed whacked for a few days up there before that. Mowed the lawns. And Bob, you'll see him on the side of the hill up there, just weed whacking away. He's told me, he says, nobody bothers you in the cemetery when you got a weed whacker. You just, you just can get there and you can have some quiet time as you whack the weeds up there. So he was actually able to keep Tommy Salvador on key for the presentation when Tommy would want to stray off course. He was able to keep him on his program. Bob's done a lot of fundraising for different events in the community, especially for the CP Center. His daughter Maggie was there for many years as a student, and Bob really appreciated what they did for Maggie down there. Now he does a lot. Maggie enjoyed music. Bob supports local school bands. He raises money. He buys instruments for the schools. He supports the CP Center. A lot of things. A lot of people probably don't know Bob does this stuff, but I'm going to tell them, Bob. And, he's always gone above and beyond. I don't know if it was Kelly's senior year of basketball. Bob had a few medical issues during his time as coaching the girls' varsity. One game, Bob was having some dental work done, and he was very excited in the huddle, and he's telling the girls, and all of a sudden this partial comes popping out. He caught it before it hit the floor, sticks it in his pocket, and gets right back into the conversation. And somehow he scratched his eye that year, and he had to wear an eye patch. And then they were at I can't remember what night it was just a girl shooting or whatever. Bob leaves the gym, falls out in the parking lot, and does something to his leg. So here's Bob. He's not going to give up on the girls. No tooth. He's got an eye patch, and he's got his crutches. I think he got away with a lot with the refs because Bob's son told me this. He said the crutches would go up, they'd fall down, they'd be on the court, and the refs would just look at him. He's not getting a technical tonight, but that's how Bob is. He goes above and beyond. He has always done anything for the youth of the community, and I'm glad to say he's my friend. So I'd like to bring Bob up. Our assemblywoman would like to speak to you next.
Bob, there's no way I can top that. But I want to say thank you for being a leader in our community and for inspiring young people and for being a role model. Because I think in communities, role models are so important, that we be able to look to somebody to say, this is what we should be as adults. This is what it means to be a citizen in our community, and you have been that role model. So it is with my thanks that I have brought you an assembly citation to commemorate this. Thank you.
Michelle's going to present you something now?
Boy.
So last couple years ago, Jack Byrne passed away, and we all know everybody loved Jack Byrne. But Jack was always behind the camera, and he was in the room, he was taking the pictures, they were always there. You kind of didn't know he was there, but you didn't really see him, and he wasn't in the way. But he did a lot of great things, and that's why we have named this award the Jack Byrne Award, because Bob, you do a lot in our community, and you do it under the cover, you're not out there waving a flag that you did it or anything like that. So we wanted to take this opportunity to tell you that we do see you, and we do see all that you do. And congratulations on being the recipient of the Jack Byrne Award this year. You're welcome. And now I'm going to give this to you.
Okay, great, Mike. Well, for people that don't know me, my roots are in both Mechanicville and Stillwater. My father was born in the south end of Stillwater on Burns Bridge Road, and my mom was from Mechanicville. Yeah, I really don't know what to say when you receive an award that's named after Jack Byrne, other than I'm honored. I was lucky to know Jack both personally and professionally. He moved to Mechanicville. He grew his business here in Mechanicville. He raised his family here, and he gave back to his community, both Mechanicville and Stillwater. Both Jack and his wife Dodie and their kids Karen and Jack were so nice to everyone. And his slogan, everybody does like Jack Byrne, and everybody likes Jack Byrne's family. Professionally, I bought my first car from Jack, 1982, Mercury Lynx, black, red plush interior. And I've bought many vehicles since, and I currently still drive the 1999 Mark IV Econoline van that we bought so Maggie would have a bed on our trips. And now it's used as the van that I bring my lawnmower and the weed whacker around. I've always been proud to say I'm from Mechanicville. So whenever I'm talking to somebody, they say, where are you from? I don't say some small city near Albany or Saratoga. I said, I'm from Mechanicville, New York. And if they're local people, I say, second biggest city in Saratoga County. We know that too. When I retired, and I saw something around town that I thought needed some help, I just thought I would do it to try to make Mechanicville a little bit more of an attractive place to the people of our city and to our visitors. I was weed whacking so much and mowing so much that Barb's family decided they were going to give us a Christmas present, and they gave us 2 t-shirts. Tom Weed Whacker there are so many more people in Mechanicville that do much more than I do with a lawnmower and a weed whacker. The volunteer firemen, the local businesses supporting our community programs, like the Connors Agency. Kevin is a class of 1975. Marianne, class of 1975. What they do for our city is great. The library. My mother worked in the library. Her picture still hangs there. I love going to the library. I didn't when I was supposed to go to the library. The community service center and all that, what they do, and all our public servants, like the mayor, class of 1975. Just to throw a plug in. We just had our 50th class reunion, and it just keeps on giving. Along those lines, I'd like to say I'm proud of my family and their public service. Barb's many years of teaching kindergarten, and the time we share helping out St. Paul Cemetery. Bobby and Kelly's involvement in youth sports, and Kelly's education, teaching career, along with Bob's professional involvement in many Mechanicville City projects and other ones across the state, and his participation in the board of directors of our community center. In closing, I just want to say that I get a lot of personal satisfaction out of helping out, which doesn't come close to what Mechanicville and Stillwater did for our family during Maggie's lifetime. Thank you.
Congratulations, Bob. And congratulations to the class of 1975, because apparently they are definitely the pillar of Mechanicville. I want to make sure that everybody gets dessert. We didn't forget dessert. Dessert is out. It's in the back. And please make sure you have some dessert, relax, enjoy yourself. That is the end of our program. I do want to thank the Ugly Rooster for catering and all the staff and all the help. The Chamber of Commerce is always looking for new businesses to join, so feel free to join the Chamber at any time. And we hope you enjoyed the program tonight. I think we set a new bar for economic development tonight with between all of the businesses, and for community service, because that is a very, very big part of it. And to Bob, you are a quiet giant, and that's exactly why we gave you that award. And last year's quiet giant was the mayor, so class of 75's going strong. Stillwater, we got to find some class of 75 people for winning this next year. All right, congratulations, everybody. Thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it. Please stay, have dessert, and have a good night. Thank you.